I talk a lot. Just not out loud when anyone can hear. At least I used to be that way. I'm no chatterbox now, but if you stop me on the street and ask me directions to the zoo, I'll answer you. Probably. If you're nice, I might even tell you a couple of different ways to get there. I guess I've learned it's not enough to just think things. You have to say them too. Because all the words in the world won't do much good if they're just rattling around in your head. But I'm getting ahead of myself. To understand me and how I've changed, I need to go back to 1958. It was a beautiful day in September, and I was standing on top of a diving board. The blue sky was reflected in the water below. The whiteboard felt scratchy under my feet, and the smell of hot dogs wafted up to the snack stand. It was a perfect summer day, the kind you see in the movies, and I was positive I was going to throw up. You see, it wasn't just any high dive. Oh no, it was a super huge, 5-meter high platform diving board, the tallest at Fair Park Swimming Pool. Probably the highest in all of Little Rock. It might have even been the highest in all of Arkansas, which wouldn't have been a problem if I hadn't been afraid of heights. But I was. Sally McDaniels had told me she was going to jump off and asked if I wanted to come too. Everyone over the age of 10 had already jumped off the board a dozen times that summer, except for me, and I was practically 13. It was easier to nod than say no, so there I was. Sally was waiting behind me on the ladder. Blonde and blue-eyed, she wore a pink suit the exact color of her toenails. Sally wasn't really pretty, but no one ever noticed because she acted like she was. "Are you all right?" she asked. No, of course I wasn't all right. I mean, I wasn't sick or anything, but I was standing perfectly still, frozen as a popsicle, counting prime numbers in my head. A prime number is a number that can only be divided by itself and 1. There are 25 of them under 100, and reciting them sure does help me when I'm nervous. "Go ahead and jump," said Sally. I didn't move. A plane flew across the sky clouds. 2, 3, 5, 7, 11. I wish I were a stork so I could fly away. Or a flamingo, or a penguin. Except I didn't think they flew. "Marley?" Sally asked. "There's a bunch of people behind us." I hated holding them up, so I took a step toward the edge of the platform. 13, 17, 19, 23. But then I got dizzy and fell to my knees. "Come on!" cried the boy on the ladder behind Sally. "Hurry up and jump!" I shook my head and clutched the board. 29, 31, 37, 41. It didn't work. I wasn't ever letting go. Sally laughed. She said she was really going to do it this time. I squeezed my eyes tighter and kept counting. 43, 47, 53. "Isn't that Judy Nesbitt's little sister?" someone said. It must have only been a minute or two, but I got all the way to 97 before Oops, sorry. Sorry, guys, I don't know why. It went to a different screen. My bad. "Marley," she said quietly. "Come on down. I already bought a Coke and payday. We can share them on the way home." I nodded, but didn't move. "Open your eyes," Judy commanded. I did. Not that I always do what my sister says, but, well, I guess I usually do. In any case, when I saw my sister's clear brown eyes looking at me, I felt much better. She was 16 and going into 11th grade. I could talk to my sister. She was smart and calm and reasonable. "Do you want me to hold your hand on the way down the ladder?" Judy asked. I nodded again. It was embarrassing, but I didn't think I could do it on my own. Once I felt her palm on mine, it only took a minute for us to make our way down together. "What a baby," said the boy who had been behind me as he brushed past us to climb up again. Sally laughed, and I knew they were right. I was a baby. "Come on," said Judy. She picked up her book and her bag from the lounge chair where she had been reading. See you at school tomorrow, said her friend Margaret. See you, Jody replied, waving goodbye. Judy hadn't even gotten her hair wet. She'd recently cut it into a short bob and wore it pulled back with a ribbon. My hair was the same brown color as my sister's, but it was long and wavy, and sometimes I still wore it in braids. Sally said I looked like Heidi, but I didn't care. I liked Heidi. She had that nice grandpa and her friend with all those goats. Goats are okay, but what I really love are wild animals, like the ones you find at the zoo. The Little Rock Zoo was right across the street from the swimming pool, in the gate, and down the hill. I knew the lions were pacing in their cages. At night, Judy and I listened to them roar. But during the day, they were quiet like me. Judy and I sat on the wall by the zoo entrance as we shared a candy bar and a Coke. Sorry, I said. I'd ruined our last day at the pool before school started again. Judy sighed. Why are you even friends with Sally McDaniels? I shrugged. Sally and I have been friends ever since we were 5, and she pushed me off the slide at the park. She likes to boss you around, Judy said. That was true, but she was also familiar. I like familiar. You need to find a friend you have something in common with, said Judy. Someone who likes to do the same things you do. That's what... I stopped listening. I knew all her advice by heart. I needed to find someone who was honest and friendly and nice. I knew all the ways I was supposed to meet this imaginary friend too. Just say hello, ask someone a question, give a compliment. Maybe it would work if I could ever figure out the right words. I know it sounds odd, but I much prefer numbers to words. In math, you always get the same answer, no matter how you do the problem. But with words, blue can be 1,000 different shades. 2 is always 2. I like that. Judy finished lecturing, and I said, it's easier to put up with Sally. Sometimes she's really nice. Yeah, Judy said. Sometimes. Chapter 2. Coffee, tea, or soda. That evening after dinner, we all sat down in the living room to watch TV. By we, I mean my family. Mother, Daddy, Judy, and me. I have an older brother too, David, but he just moved out the week before to start college. My sister and brother and Daddy were the only ones I feel really comfortable talking to. So I miss David something terrible. In fact, when Mother made a fresh batch of iced tea for dinner, I almost started crying. You see, to me, people are like things you drink. Some are like a pot of black coffee. No cream, no sugar. They make me so nervous I start to tremble. Others calm me down enough that I can sort through the words in my head and find something to say. My brother David is a glass of sweet iced tea on a hot summer day. When you've put your feet up in a hammock and haven't got a care in the world. Judy is an ice-cold Coca-Cola from the fridge. Sally is a cough syrup. She tastes bad, but my mother insists she's good for me. Daddy's a glass of milk, usually cold and delicious, but every once in a while he goes sour. If I have to ask one of my parents a question, I'll pick him, because Mother is hot black tea, so strong, she's almost coffee. Mother and I don't exactly see eye to eye, or even elbow to elbow. She's always trying to get me to do stuff. Invite that girl over, volunteer at church, read to that poor blind lady down the street. I know she loves me, but sometimes I think she wishes I were more like Judy. Mother and Judy like to read fashion magazines and go shopping. They get their hair done once a week and read long romantic novels like Gone with the Wind. Despite our differences, Judy and I get along, but Mother expects me to be thrilled when she brings me home a new skirt or a sweater set when what I'd really like is a new slide rule. Ever since the Soviets sent up the Sputnik satellite last year, I've been studying really hard. Maybe someday I'll study mathematics at college and become a rocket scientist. Only thing is, when our teacher told us last year that our country needs more of us to study math, I think she meant more boys. I watched all those talks on TV about the satellite really closely, and I didn't see any experts who were women. That evening, we were watching our brand new 1958 RCA 21-inch mahogany television console. It was so large, we had to move an armchair into the garage to make space for it in the living room. With rabbit ears on top, it got 3 whole channels. Governor Favis was on television, giving some sort of talk about Southern pride and communists and... Okay, I tried to pay attention, but it really didn't make much sense. I was more worried about who my teachers would be this year. Teachers are definitely coffee. When they call on me in class, it makes me so nervous I can't say a thing, even when I know the answer. So there's always a rough patch at the beginning of the year when I'm breaking them in. People sometimes think I'm stupid because I'm so quiet. But I'm not stupid. I'm scared. Scared my voice will get all squeaky and people will laugh. Worried I'll look dumb if I say the wrong thing. Concerned about being a show-off if I get the answer right. Convinced that if I start talking, people will notice me and I won't like the attention. Turn off the TV, Marley, Dad said suddenly. I jumped up to do what he asked. I could tell by his tone that something was wrong. I can't believe the governor would rather close the schools than have you go with a couple of Negroes, Daddy said to Judy. That's not what he said, Mother snapped. It's about states' rights, preserving our way of life and respecting Southern traditions, not to mention maintaining the peace. There you have it, girls, Daddy's voice was pleasant, but there was a bite to it. Judy frowned. But what will I do all day? You can get a head start on the fall cleaning, said Mother. Maybe wash the windows? Judy made a face. Or you can help Betty Jean with the laundry. It's up to you. I'll bring home a reading list and a math book to keep you busy after that. Betty Jean was our new maid. We'd never had one before, but with Mother going back to work, we needed someone to do the laundry and the cooking. Daddy's been an English teacher at Forest Heights Junior High for a long time. But Mother's first day of teaching home economics at Hall High School was supposed to be tomorrow. Do you have to go to work? Judy asked. Yes, said Mother. Hall is close to the students, but I signed a contract, so I have to go. What about Marley? Does she have to go to school? Judy asked. That was just what I wanted to know. All right, we will